good morning, y'all. Let me make sure I'm live here on the correct page. I don't know if any of you know it. There I am. I went live on the wrong page the other day. That's what happens when you got too many pages for your own good going on. I'm going to show you real quick. This is going to be a quickie. I'm pouring some of my drinking water in the cup there for my brushes, and I just grabbed a handful of brushes. I'll show y'all that in just a second. Okay, let me bend this down to where you can see what we got going on here, and you'll be seeing, let me see if I can move this to where you can see the whole project, and then I'll be back here doing it. I have like 10 of these that somebody gave me that they got like in an estate sale or something, and we need a new chalkboard for our coffee shop. So I've wiped it off. This is glass. This, you know, we're told time and time again that you don't have to have nothing to use this paint. Put it on there and go with it. Grabbed a handful of brushes. Brush pour up here today as far as my favorites, but I like all these brushes I have here, and I've been trying to decide how to do this. I'm going to use DIY little black dress, and I'm going to use this is the DIY liquid patina and some DIY beadboard. Let's hope this one's been sitting in our window display. I made a Christmas tree shape out of a bunch of my used paint containers for our window display for Christmas here at the Artisan Market at Get Healthy. We're in DeRidder, Louisiana, so these have been sitting there a little while. I usually have all this stuff done ahead of time, but today I didn't. So let's see. And there's our beadboard. And what I'm going for is black in the center and like farmhouse white looking on the edges. And I don't know whether to, and I'm just going to start painting, to put the white on first and then come back and just dust a little, oh, that's the liquid patina, dust a little black over it as the, which is what I'm fixing to do. There's not a whole lot left in here, so I'm going to, even though I brought a little thing, it's over on the other side to dip in. Let me grab that so that I'm not dipping straight in that container. And I'm just using a chip brush on this part. You don't always get the best coverage, but because it's going to have a couple of coats anyways. See, I was going to use the DIY White Swan that I had in here, but there's not enough in there, so I decided to get this little boat. I'm going to pour a little bit of this in here, and I'm going to go with the white first, because it's not going to really matter too heck of a lot if some of the white gets on the black or some of the black gets on the white, because it's going to be sort of distressed looking anyways. This paint's pretty thick and dry, so I'm just misting a little of my water in it. I'm going to do just a quick once over on this. I don't want too much on it because that's not a porous surface. I'm going to mix that up, and let's just get some white slapped on these edges. I'm not worried about it being, you know, all smooth and perfect, because that's not the style of this painting or of this project. Let's do our best to get some in there. So I haven't sanded, I haven't used a primer, I have not done anything of the sorts for this, but I am gonna, you know, let it dry overnight and all of that stuff before I bring it in the other room and start using it here, of course. Give it a little bit of a chance. I'll probably give it till maybe Monday and let it cure a little bit. That's the thing with these the chalk based paints like the DIY paint, is they need to be they need to cure. I'm trying to stand this on its corner there and get a lot of this done. They need to cure, and it's usually a couple of weeks first and then before you start really using it, and a month before you put anything heavy on it. Well, we're never going to put anything heavy on it. It's going to be where we write like our latte of the day or drink of the day or whatever. But this would be a perfect project for like hanging in the kitchen, something having a, you know, a pretty frame on it and stuff like this. This would be nice for hanging in the kitchen for like your grocery list, and to, you know, for your kids or your spouse or whoever to write love notes to you. That doesn't happen very often in our household, but it does in some households. My mom and my stepdad used to write each other notes on a little chalkboard shaped like a little Italian baker, and I thought that was so sweet. But this would, you know, this will make a nice one. You can, you know, put your whole grocery list there, have it for notes, or write just a beautiful message on there. You could write, with it being chalkboard style, you can change the message seasonally. Would be a nice welcome to our kitchen. No tomatoes go in the gumbo if you're a Louisiana person. That'd be a good thing to put on here. But this is just using something you could get at, you know, Goodwill or garage sale, or you may have something. I know I've got pictures, you know, back when home interior was a thing. They were supposed to be the nicest of the nice. I've got a honey load of those that don't have pictures that have anything to do with my life anymore in them, but they are still nice frames and pictures. So that would be a, you know, a nice way to reuse a home interior frame. Okay, now I'm going to go to the little black dress, and I only got out one of these. I'm not going to worry about that white being in there, and I'll pour a decent amount of that in there. I'm probably going to go with, or I am going to go, not probably, I am going to go with 3 coats of the little black dress, so we may not finish all of that part today. I am going to change brushes. And get this larger synthetic brush because it's convenient. It's laying right here, and we're going to try it. But I, you know, it takes about 3 good coats to make this into, you know, an authentic chalkboard type finish. So I'm going on top of glass, so, you know, that would be something to worry about whether it's going to have a good finish or not to begin with. You go around these edges first, and then come back. You see a little bit of where I still had some of the white paint in my little container here before I poured in my black. It wasn't much, or I wouldn't have done that. But that doesn't matter because this is the first coat. I'm also butting up to the little bit of white that got on the glass from when I was doing the frame part. Also absolutely does not matter because this is the first coat. And as you can see, this is going to go on here in just a couple of minutes. I will probably go ahead and blow dry the white part and put the liquid patina on there. I do want it to look kind of rustic, but the reason that I will do that is this: when you're doing the chalkboard itself, you don't put a top coat over the paint. You let it harden, and it doesn't need it, and that's what gives it a chalkboard finish. But when the edges of the frame, you know, may end up being dusted eventually and things like that, so you notice I say may, then you will need the top coat on there. I've had friends who have done these type of projects before who say, you know, after your 30 days of curing are over, that you can actually, it's not going to reactivate the paint, and you can actually still use, you know, water if you need to occasionally, you know how that goes at you know, with projects, occasionally you're going to need to wipe it off. And at this point, I want to just pretend, because we can't stay on the video forever, at this point, say if this was my 3rd coat and it was dry, I would then take a piece of chalk, don't have one in here, probably own more chalk than the kindergarten class, but It was not to be found in here today, but you would take a piece of chalk and you just rub it back and forth over the dried black paint. And what that does is called, oh my goodness, what's that word? Cure. It's sort of like it seasons it, sort of like when you season a cast iron skillet. It seasons this so that any words that you put on there with chalk in the future will wipe off easily later with your eraser, so that you can put new words and not stain and ruin your chalkboard. But if something was to happen and you stain and ruin your chalkboard, you just grab your black paint, go over it and put another coat and start over. We have a sign outside, one of those swinging signs, and we've been painting that sucker for 10 years, so that's not a big deal at all. But what I'm going to do now, I just wanted to show you this basic part, and I'll show you this after it's done. There's no need in you having to stay on here with me forever, but I'm going to put the liquid patina over the white part so that I can lightly dry brush over it a little bit with the black, which then I won't put a patina over. And I'm going to put 2 more coats of the black on the glass, and then I'm going to let it sit here until at least next week before I bring it in the other room for us to start using. So I hope that little tip, that was what, a 5-minute paint job, and it's already not an old home interior picture anymore. It's already something cute. So thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.